Hello, everyone. This is our Bitly Deep Dive series focusing on QR codes. It's September the 12th, 2023. So let's get started today. Before we get too into it, just want to review what we will be covering in today's deep dive. We're going to start off with some quick introductions so you can know who you're listening to today. We'll then go into Bitlys mission statement and what is the Bitly Connections platform. And then we'll really dive into the QR codes. We'll talk about what Bitly QR codes are, why choose Bitly for your QR codes, and then we'll have a live demo of how to create, customize, edit, and track the performance of all the QR codes you're creating with Bitly. We'll wrap up the webinar today with a quick review of some further resources so you can really become a QR code expert. So as mentioned, just want to start off with some quick introductions. My name is Maddie Smith, and I'll be a co-host for today's deep dive webinar. I am an onboarding manager here at Bitly. I work with all new enterprise customers to make sure they're set up successfully for Bitly, and I will be walking you through the QR code product today. And then I'll pass it to my lovely co-hosts so they can introduce themselves.
Hi, thank you, Maddie. I am Alexander Hancock. I'm a technical writer here at Bitly. If any of you have spent any time on the Bitly Help Center, you may have seen my name and my face. I write lots of our guides for how to use the product, and I am very excited to talk about QR codes today. Send it back to you, Maddie.
Great. So before we go into the QR codes, we just want to review Bitly's mission, and that is to turn every interaction into a catalyst for connections. That is what we're working towards. And how we do that is through the Bitly Connections platform. So you're probably asking, what is the Bitly Connections platform? Well, this is a platform that seamlessly combines all of our core products. And that would include link management, which most people are familiar with and relate Bitly to. And then it also includes QR codes, which we're focusing on today. And finally, it also includes our link in bio product. The connection platforms allows you to have a single unified space where you can track all of the products that make up the connections platform in one space. So there are some key benefits that we do like to highlight when using the connections platform. And what it allows you to do is empower your business by having everything in one space and enabling you to spread some brand awareness. It encourages business growth with all the metrics that we provide behind the product offerings. It saves you time, again, having everything in one space, and ultimately makes it seamless to share all of the products you're creating. So now that we're a little more familiar with the connections platform, I want to pass it to Alex, who's really going to dive into the QR codes offering.
Thank you, Maddie. I suspect most people watching this deep dive have seen QR codes out in the wild before, maybe at a restaurant where you scan the code with your phone and it opens the restaurant's menu, maybe on billboards, advertisements, conferences. You really do see them all over the place these days. A QR code is a square graphic, each one with a unique pattern that anybody can scan with their phones to open a piece of content, usually a destination URL. It'll open in their browser or in an app on their phone. With Bitly, you can think of this as basically a scannable version of a short link, which gives you all of the things that you're used to getting with your Bitly links, you're able to get with your QR codes as well. So we are able to capture the action when somebody scans it. It's like a click on a link, and it gives you all of the data that you usually get. But before we get into talking about that in too much detail, Maddie, I'm going to send this back to you.
Perfect. So now that we're a little more familiar with the QR code itself, you're probably thinking, why would you want to use it in your marketing? So want to just highlight some key reasons why you would want to incorporate QR codes. It enhances customer engagements and makes it super easy for people to engage with your content on the go. It can drive conversions, very cost effective, quick and easy to create, as you will see today. Very accessible, as all you need is a mobile device with a camera to be able to access the content sharing with the QR code. You can build brand transparency and trust, as we'll get into how you can do that in our demo today. And then it allows you to track metrics. And before we get into the demo, I want to pass it back to Alex, who's going to review some of the trends we see with QR codes.
Thank you again, Maddie. Before I start talking about the trends, I want to point out this QR code here on this slide. If anyone is watching this and wants to scan that, it will take you to the full report. This is our 2023 QR code trends report. And it's got a lot of great information and interesting use cases on how people are using QR codes these days. One thing that we had saw in doing this research is that QR code adoption, it's rising everywhere. 41% increase in use over the first half of 2023. That's exceptional. And it's growing across industries. I know I mentioned a few examples just a few minutes ago, but we're seeing them more and more all over the place in professional services, consumer goods, retail, even industries that you might not expect, like finance. In all of these industries, QR code use is growing and growing. And these are companies of all size. So we have 140% year-over-year growth in use among entrepreneurs, single-person businesses. And at the other end of the spectrum, 143% growth, almost exactly the same among enterprise businesses, as different a business as you could get. It's really wild, the growth that we're seeing all over the place. And again, I highly encourage anybody to just scan that code and learn a whole lot more. With that, I think it's time for our demo. Send it back to you, Maddie.
Yes, I think it is. So let me just pull up our connections platform really quickly, and we're going to dive right in. So what we're looking at right now is the QR code portion of the connections platform. This page is the library of all the QR codes you're going to be creating. To begin creating, what you'll do is come over here to this create new button. So as we've spoken about today, we have the three core products that Bitly offers in the connections platform, and we're going to focus on the QR code creation flow. So to create a brand new QR code, you'll click QR code, or you could press Q on your keyboard if you'd like. You'll be brought to this page where there is one required field, and that's going to be the destination of where you would like your user to end up at when they scan your QR code. So what I'll do is I'll just copy this long URL and I'll paste it in here. I have a few options. You can see I can hit enter really quickly, and what I will create is a traditional QR code with the black and white format that you'll get the preview on the right-hand side. And I can do that by enter if you're just in a rush. Then we have further customization options that would love to really hone into today. So you can add a title, which is going to help you manage your QR codes when in that QR codes page. So if you need to quickly identify what the content behind this QR code is, you're going to want to add a title. Oftentimes, it will just pull the title of the page or shortening. If not, it will remain untitled, and that is a reason why you'd want to change it. Next thing you'll see here is the short link. So the short link is ultimately what is going to be powering this QR code. So you are creating a Bitly short link at the same time as creating the QR code. We have a custom domain set up, so you see that here, and that's what it will use for the short link. And then if you want to customize what the back half or what comes after the slash, you can do so as well. But obviously that is optional. Once you've added the destination and decided on if you want to customize the short link further, you can then toggle over to customize. Note, you can always create the QR code at any point in the black and white traditional format. But for this, we're going to toggle over to customize, and we're going to show all of the exciting new updates we have in terms of customizing your QR code. So at the top, you can see we have some templates. 3 of them are out of the box, just to give you some general ideas. And then 2 of the ones that have been saved and can be edited. We're going to come back to the templates as I want to talk through how to customize the QR code and actually save a template. So the first offering when it comes to customizing a QR code is the actual pattern. And you'll always get this preview on the right. So we offer a few you can play around with and see which one you like the most. Once you decide what you like, you can then go into choosing the corners. So those 3 corners in the QR code, traditionally they are squares, but we offer some different designs if you'd like to adjust. And note, you can always reset it back to the default if you don't really like where you're going. Once you got the style, you can go into colors. So we'll always offer some preset templates. However, you can get super specific. We offer gradient options if you'd like. You can input the exact colors that match your branding or use our color adjustment picker if you'd like. When adjusting colors, just keep in mind the lightness of it, as lighter colors may be more difficult to scan. So you are just going to want to test the scannability before you go ahead and start printing this out. In addition to the color of the code itself, you can adjust the background color. You can make it a single color, which you can change here. We have gradient, and then we have transparent, which was a highly requested feature as well. And then finally, if you'd like to also adjust the corner colors, you can do so. You'll just have to toggle this little button here, and then you can play around with our choices. So again, use our color picker to really go any method you want. And then the final or second to final step here is the logo. So we have some out of the box logos that you can choose. So if you know this will be going to your Facebook page or an Instagram page, you can just add that. We have the Bitlys logo you can always use. We have a text box too. So you can just write in a little message if you want, change the text color. And then finally, if you wanted to upload your own logo, you can do so. We have the file type ratios at the bottom of how it should be formatted when you upload it. And then moving forward, once you upload a logo, it should save and be there as an option so that you can select it for future QR codes. And then finally, if you'd like, you can add a frame to your QR code. We have some ones that are great for social media use cases, one that shows the short link as well, just in case you want to show both options, and then some others that prompt some scanning, but you can always change the messaging if you want. And then you don't have to go with a frame if you don't like. So now that we've created our QR code, or we've styled our QR code, before we press the create QR code that actually goes forward with creating it, we're going to save this as a current design because I like it and I would like to use it in the future. If it's not one you think you're going to use, again, no need to save it. But to save a design, all you do is press save current design. It will populate under your templates, and the ones that you've saved, you can always delete at any time. So now that we've saved the template and customized to our liking, let's go ahead and create the QR code. There we go. Simple, easy, quick. Here's our QR code. Here's the short link that's powering the QR code. We'll always get that as well. And then we'll get our download options. We always present you with the opportunity to download in a JPEG, PNG, and vector file. We recommend when you would use each file type, and then you can always copy the code as well. And then you're brought directly to your QR codes library where we can begin managing the QR codes we've created.
Yeah, hey Maddie, question for you. What if I wanted to edit that design that I just made before I print out the QR code? I look at it here on this page and I think, I'd like to make some changes to how that looks. Is that possible?
Yeah, that's a great question. So exactly, if you're taking a look at this and you're not as pleased as you thought you would be with the design, all you have to do is come here and press modify design. It will bring you right back to the page you were at, where you can adjust the coloring if need be. So just some like that, save changes. And then you can also save the new updated version as a design as well. Just like that.
Amazing, thank you. And what if I've already printed it and need to change where that link is going? Can I do that?
Yeah, that's a great question, because that definitely happens. Sometimes the content needs to be updated, or maybe there was an accidental mistake. Luckily, we have a solution for that. So if you need to change this destination long URL, what you would do is edit content. So again, you'd click the three dots and press edit content. This is going to bring you to a similar page that you saw when you create the link, where you see the title and the short link. So what you'll do is you'll come down here to destination URL and press redirect. What this is going to do is going to change the destination of the QR code, and it's also going to change the destination of the short link. So just remember that if you're sharing it in a short link form as well. So I'm going to press yes, continue, and it's going to allow me to paste in a new destination long URL, which I'll do here. And depending on your plan type, depends how many times a month you can perform redirects, but you'll always know where you're at for the month, so you can kind of keep track. And when you paste in that new destination, just press Save Changes, and now you can see the website URL has been updated. Another cool thing you can do after you create a short link, let's say that, or excuse me, another cool thing you can do after you create a QR code is, let's say you really liked the design you used, but you forgot to save it as a template. No problem there. All you have to do is, again, click these three dots and duplicate the design. This will bring you to the page where you just add your destination, something like this. And when you press create QR code, it will be created with the exact same design. You might want to try to, if you want, I'll show you how to do that really quickly. You might want to save it as a template again, if you know that it's something you'll be using often, or if it was just a one time you wanted to recreate it, no need to save the current design template. You'll always be, after you create the QR codes or edit it, you'll always be brought back to your QR codes library or QR codes page. It will always present you in the QR codes in order of date created. So you can see this is an example of what it looks like when you don't add a title to the QR code you're creating. You can filter this page by, like I mentioned, it defaults to date created, but when it comes to measuring the scans, you can filter by number of scans to see the top performing at the top and going down from there. What we present you with is the title, the date, the QR code was created, total number of scans, and the short link powering it. And then to get even further information on the QR code analytics, what you can do is either press here, the 8 scans, or you can click this view details button. You'll then be brought to this page that tracks all of the QR code specific metrics, which include total scans. It will default to a 60-day period for our premium users, but it really depends on what plan type you're on. You'll be able to see the scans over time, so you can get a visual representation of when the actual scans are happening. And then you'll get location level data. So where in the world these scans are occurring. We'll give you country, and then we'll give you city level data. Once a city reaches 5 or more scans, as Queens has, it will pull out. Otherwise, it will get bucketed into other city scans. And then finally, we're going to show you how they're engaging with your QR codes by showing you which browsers they're using and which operating system. All of this is exportable, and then you can also adjust the date range if need be. And then you can just always go back to your QR code page to continue to manage and track all of the other QR codes you've created. But I think that's really what we wanted to cover today to make sure you're a QR code expert. I want to pass it to Alex to wrap us up today.
Thank you so much for that wonderful demo, Maddie. That was really great. If anyone watching this is interested in learning more after this deep dive, you can dive in even deeper on the Bitly Help Center. We have a few especially helpful articles here, how to create more information, just an overview of QR codes and what is a QR code, and a little bit of information about how QR codes work together with links and your link in bio page. And you can always go to the full knowledge base and search for any topics that you're interested in. Also, highly recommend that you check out the app in the App Store, the Apple App Store, or in Google Play, depending on your phone operating system. And then we have some additional webinars that Maddie leads twice a month. And you can go to bit.ly/learning to sign up for one of those. You'll get an even deeper look into how to use the Connections platform and all of the products we offer there. So with that, I think we've just about covered everything. Any additional information from you, Maddie?
No, I think that's it. Again, please join us on our webinars if you want to review or learn more about the Connections platform. But other than that, thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, thank you.